are?
I'm Jeffrey.
Okay, Jeffrey, that's good. Anybody else there? Nobody else
Stephen
there?
Levine.
Steve Levine is here.
One more time, who's there?
Steve Levine.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. Very good. All right, everybody, welcome to Kohelet, Mishlei, and Pirkei Avot. If you can handle all three at the same time. And you'll see they're all connected. And I hope you're looking on the page where it says Proverbs. Okay, we're actually in the top paragraph. Okay, and I want you to speak up if you have any questions. If you agree or disagree with what is in the text, please let me know. Okay, and here's where we would like to start. Look at number 26. Does everyone see that pasuk, that verse? Anybody see it? It's in the top paragraph.
Vinegar to the teeth.
Okay, number 26. All right. Who would like to read it to me? It's we read it and then we'll find out what it means. Mr. Levine, you want to try it?
Want me to try it?
Yeah, please.
Like vinegar to the teeth and like smoke to the eyes, so is a sluggard to those who send him.
Okay, does anyone know what a sluggard is? He's not a baseball player. A sluggard is not a baseball player who hits home runs. No. What is a sluggard? Anybody? Okay, that's fancy English for a lazy person. Okay, a lazy person is called a sluggard. So he wants to give you an idea of whether a sluggard, a lazy person, is good in their Judaism or bad. So he compares a lazy person to vinegar to the teeth. Now, has anyone ever had that experience of drinking vinegar where it touches your teeth? Does it feel good or bad? Anyone know? It feels terrible. It's a very uncomfortable feeling when vinegar meets up with your teeth. In addition, smoke to the eyes. Does that feel good or bad? Anybody? No one sure? I can tell you that no one likes getting smoke in their eyes. It's a bad experience. So what you have here is King Solomon saying to us that a person who sends a sluggard, a lazy person, to do a mitzvah or to do anything of value like that, that is going to be very disappointing. Very disappointing, because a sluggard is called an utzail, and an utzail is someone who doesn't deliver the goods, okay? And we have a famous saying in the Gemara, Shlucho shel adam kamoso. When you make a shaliach, that person is just like you yourself. And if you want somebody to do a good deed for you, you can appoint them to do it for you. That's legitimate. However, if the messenger is a lazy person, it will turn out to be a disaster. Okay, so that's where the pasuk is saying that a sluggard, a lazy person, will never make a good messenger, because either they won't get there or they'll do the wrong thing. Okay, and the idea is, if you yourself are a lazy person, you should change, because that is not a good place to be. Any questions? Okay, let's go to number 27. Could somebody is there a Yaakov Tzvi? Is there a Yaakov Feivel here today? Is Jack here in our group? No? Okay. Number 27. Who would like to read it? Jeffrey, you want to read it?
Let me find it. Number 27.
Number 27.
The fear of Hashem will increase days, but the years of the wicked will be shortened.
Okay.
That-
Okay, that's right. Okay. Meaning when you observe mitzvos, the mitzvos will increase your life. We say in our davening, Ki hem chayenu v'orech yamenu, that the mitzvos are our lifeline. They will give us a long life. But the other kind of person, the Rasha, his life is going to be shortened because he doesn't do mitzvos, and in fact, he does worse. He does sins, and these sins are going to take away from the years of his life. Okay, this is a reminder of trying to do more mitzvos so we can benefit with a longer life. Okay. The next verse I would like to show you is chapter 11, verse 1. Do you all see it? Second paragraph?
Yes.
Deceitful scales.
Yes, would you read it, please?
Deceitful scales are an abomination of Hashem, but a perfect weight is his desire.
Okay, so this seems to say that a dishonest businessman is in bad standing with Hashem. Okay, now it's very interesting. This week we're going to be remembering Amalek, right, with Purim. And this Thursday and Friday, Amalek will be the topic in the Torah reading and in the Megillah. But it's interesting in the last section of Devarim, and at the end of Kitetse, there's a commandment about being honest in business. And the next verse that follows is Amalek attacking. Okay, and what is the connection? It seems that the punishment for not being honest in our business, by not using correct scales, the punishment is that Amalek will attack, and they did. And does anybody know who was the first person in history to fight Amalek? Anybody know? Take a lucky. Anybody know? Moshe could not do it. So who did he appoint to fight Amalek? And can anyone speak? Can anyone answer that question?
Nachshon ben Amadav.
Say it again, please.
Nachshon.
Okay, very good. That is correct. It would be Joshua.
I never cared for anybody from your family. The only one I liked was Uncle Jack.
Oh, excuse me. Is this Mickey?
Now, is this you?
I'll talk to you later. I'm in the middle of a Zoom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. So Joshua was sent to put down the attack by the Amalek, right? Okay. Who was the next famous person who was a king and was told to destroy the Amalekites before they would destroy us? Who was that king? Anybody know?
No.
Lucky guesses? And his name would be King Saul. And did he do the job? Did King Saul destroy all the Amalekites as he was told to by the prophet Samuel? Anybody know?
No.
He did not. And the problem was he had too much rachmanos on the king of the Amalekites, who was a very elderly man. His name was Agag. And because he spared him, he allowed the continuation of the Amalekites to continue. So that if had King Saul, put the king of the Amalekites to death as he was told by the prophet, there never would have been a Haman to torture the Jewish people. And it's very interesting that because King Saul did not do what he was told to do, his descendants were going to be the ones who would have to finish the job. And who are his descendants who put Haman out of business? Anybody know? Speak up. Okay. That would be Mordecai and Esther, who were direct descendants of King Saul, who was from the tribe of Benjamin, of Binyamin. Okay, any questions? Any? No? Okay, so this week is Purim, and Thursday is a fast day. And Thursday night into Friday, we observe with great joy the celebration of Purim, that we had a victory over our enemies. And the topic will be again and again about the evil Amalekites, whose purpose in life was to destroy us if they could. And our job was not to allow that to happen. Okay, so let's go to the next verse, number 4. Could anybody read it for me? Anybody? Or number 4 in chapter 11. Somebody?
I will.
Okay. Please.
Wealth will not avail in the day of wrath, but charity will rescue from death.
Okay,
Right.
very good. Very good. All right, that's correct. Now, what King Solomon is saying is that if you're very, very rich, there is nothing you can do with your riches to extend your life. Okay? All the money in the world will not let you live to be 100 or 200, whatever you want. None of that will be of any help. But there is something that will extend your life. And what is that? That's called charity. What's the Hebrew word for charity?
Tzedakah.
Tzedakah is right. Tzedakah is going to extend our life. And that is the reason why. How much do people normally donate when they give tzedakah? What number?
18.
And why 18?
Chai.
Okay, 18 is another word for chai, which means life. So that's one of the good reasons for doing tzedakah. The reward is life, and but for people who don't do tzedakah, and they have a lot of money, all their money will not make any difference. It will not give them any extra life. And if they're evil as well, their life will be shortened considerably. Okay,
Yeah,
let's
there were
go.
no pockets and shrouds.
Who said that?
Steve.
Steve, you said that?
Yeah.
I'm going to go check and see if that's true, all right? All right. Okay, you're right. Very good, Steve. That's right. The only thing we take is good deeds, called mitzvos. But as far as money by itself, it doesn't get us very far. Okay, so next verse I'd like you to see is number 8. Anyone please read 8 to me.
The righteous one is removed from affliction, but the wicked one comes in his place.
Very good. In other words, a righteous person is often called a tzaddik. When a tzaddik gets into big trouble, God will usually save that person. But what happens is the person who tried to get him in trouble will take his place. And again, we go back to the Purim story. What does Haman plan to do with Mordecai, his chief enemy? What punishment does he have in mind? He wants to hang Mordecai. Okay, that's in the Megillah. Does he succeed in hanging Mordecai? Anybody
No.
guess? Yes or no? Does he get to hang Mordecai?
No.
No is correct. Who gets hanged instead of Mordecai?
He does.
He does. So that's exactly what it says here. It's exactly what the verse is saying here. The righteous one is removed from affliction, from suffering, but the wicked comes in his place. Okay, that's very good. Another example of that is in our story of Exodus. As we open up the book of Exodus, we discover that Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, makes the commandment to drown the Jewish baby boys. Correct? He wants them all drowned. but he doesn't succeed. He wants it to work, but it doesn't help. Nevertheless, when he decides to recapture his Jewish slaves at the Yam Suf, at the Sea of Reeds, what happens? Does he succeed or does he fail? Anybody? Does
Fails.
Pharaoh succeed in recapturing his Jewish slaves? Does anyone know? Lucky guesses are accepted. Go ahead, Jeffrey.
He failed.
He failed is right. In fact, he himself is drowned, right? He is drowned because that's what he was trying to do to the innocent Jewish babies. So because he tried to do that to them, he took the blame instead, and he was the one who was drowned instead of innocent people. This is a very important concept that you'll find throughout all of Judaism. It's called measure for measure, midah keneged midah, and it says that whatever you want to do to others, it will come back to you as well. If it's a good thing you're trying to do to others, you will receive goodness in return. If, however, you're planning on doing evil to somebody, that evil will come right back at you. Okay? So Haman wanted to hang Mordecai, and who got hanged? Haman. Okay? And we see this idea throughout the Torah. And if you look in Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, the great Hillel of 2,000 years ago makes a statement as follows. He was once walking along the edge of a river during the time of the Roman Empire, and he was with his adult students. And as they were walking along, Hillel noticed a skull floating in the water. And Hillel made a statement then so his students would learn a lesson. And he addressed the skull and he said, because you have drowned innocent people, you in turn have been drowned. And those who drowned you will also be drowned. Isn't that amazing? That's Hillel explaining what Judaism is all about. What we do that's good for others comes back to us as good, and what we do as evil will also return as evil. And that is the reality of what our religion is all about. Okay, coming to another verse, and that is number 12. Will somebody read to me number 12? Anyone?
He who shames his friend lacks a heart, but a man of understanding will be silent.
Okay, now what does this mean? Well, there's a beautiful story in the book of Samuel about a very good woman named Hannah, who wanted to have a child, and she prayed and prayed, and nothing ever happened, and she was very downcast because of it. So she had a friend who thought that if her friend would shame this woman Hannah, make her feel bad, she would pray twice as hard and God would give her a child. But was that the right thing to do, to shame somebody to make them pray better? And any lucky guesses? Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
I
Anybody?
don't think so.
Okay, so that's exactly the point. Even
Yeah,
though her
Rabbi.
friend's intention was good, shaming Hannah, so she would pray twice as hard. That ended up being a very big sin, and well, this is not a good way to do it.
Hashem decides who prays hard.
Say it again.
Hashem decides who prays better than somebody else.
Right.
I have something to relate to you about, embarrassing somebody to learn. My wife's son, my wife had a friend who died in a fire, and the rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva, told my wife's son he died because she didn't study enough.
Oh, that's terrible.
And Ezra was quite upset, and it affected him religiously.
I'm sorry to hear that. It's a very terrible story, very sad story.
Yep.
The truth is You never shame people. Okay. It says in the Pirkei Avot, in the Ethics of the Fathers, whoever shames a person will lose their portion in heaven, because that's a very big sin. When you shame someone, it's like killing them. So you should never, even if you think you're doing them a favor, you're not. Never shame people. Okay, and that's exactly. In fact, if you think about the story of Moses and Pharaoh, whenever Moses speaks to Pharaoh, it's with the greatest respect. Okay, he speaks very respectfully, and he says, "This is what God of Israel has commanded: send out my people, and if you don't, then there will be punishments." But he never calls him any nasty names. He just tells him what to expect if he doesn't free the Jewish people. Okay, let's go to another verse, number 15. Will someone please read it to me? Number 15.
One will be utterly broken by co-signing for a stranger, but a hater of handshakes will be secure.
Okay, this is a very good point, and it means that you want to do a good deed. Somebody wants to borrow money, but they need someone to guarantee that they'll pay back the loan. Okay, so you want to do a big mitzvah and be a guarantor for this person, and to be sure they'll get the loan. And well, guess what happens? The person never pays back the loan. So who does?
Okay. Who does?
Who pays the loan if the lender doesn't?
The
The
guarantor.
So what he's saying here is that you have to use seichel when you deal with people, and protect yourself at the same time. It's nice to be a cosigner if you have witnesses that will protect you, so that you are not the one who has to pay the loan. But if you're just trying to be a good fellow, you could end up punishing yourself. So this is the message from King Solomon, that don't be a cosigner, at least for a stranger, because you never know whether the stranger will pay up. If it's somebody that you really know very well, then and it's your co-signing will get them the loan, then that's a fine thing to do. But even then, I would say be careful that a good friend doesn't disappoint you by refusing to pay.
So the hater of handshakes has nothing to do with coronavirus.
Right, the handshake is another way of guaranteeing something will take place. Let's shake on it means that we're going to make it happen. But it's not a good idea to just trust everybody, because there are dishonest people out there, and if they don't do what they're supposed to do, you pay a heavy penalty that you don't deserve. Okay, so he's telling us to be very clear in the way we go through life. Okay, the next verse I would like you to see is number 22. Number 22. Will anyone please read it? Anyone, or all of you at the same time?
Number 22.
Like a golden ring in the snout of a pig, so is a beautiful woman whose good service has departed.
Okay. Now,
I'm not sure. Where are we? Page 1583?
okay, we're in the second paragraph. Each verse has a number.
Yeah.
And we're in the bottom of the second paragraph where it says number 22. Does everyone see that now?
Now the
No.
page has to be advanced.
No.
Every sentence has a number. Okay, we just
It's not
read
there.
number
There's
22.
they're not there.
You don't have it?
On the
No.
computer, the screen doesn't show it on the computer screen.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I forgot to. Let's see. How do I do this? Oh. I have it on a piece of paper. But you know, what did I do? Okay, I did something that is not helping. So thank you. I apologize. I will read to you what the verse says, okay? And you'll help me understand it.
Okay.
I have the Stone Tanakh in front of me. That's what I was reading from.
So right now, I don't know how to undo the screen. I'm not sure that, because it's, okay. let me tell you the verse once again. Again, this is number 22, and it would be if our if our machine was working, you would see it. It says, like a golden ring in the snout of a pig. Now, would you put a golden ring in the nose of a pig? What happens if you do? You have a pig named Porky, and you want Porky to be really handsome. So what do? You put a nose ring in his nose, and the idea is to make a Porky Pig look very handsome, right? Is that a good idea? Will Porky keep the ring clean? Probably not, right? Because pigs, they like to eat garbage. So if you put your favorite tie around his neck, and you ask him to look good, for the photographs, you'll find out that your beautiful tie won't look beautiful for very long, because he jumps into any garbage that he sees and he dirties it. So what happens here is a comparison. If you put a golden ring in the nose of a pig, that is the same thing as a beautiful woman who doesn't have good sense. A beautiful woman should wear nice jewelry, right? But there are times when her jewelry doesn't really fit her because she doesn't deserve to wear that jewelry. She's not acting in a proper fashion, okay? And because of that, she should not be wearing jewelry. And if she does wear jewelry, she makes the jewelry look cheap, okay? For instance, if a woman decides to hold up a bank and and collects the money and then goes to a jewelry store and starts putting on jewelry, would we say she looks better now that she wears the beautiful jewelry? I don't think so. Why? Because she's not a beautiful person. She's a thief. She just broke into a bank. So for that reason, we really say she's better off not wearing the jewelry. So in the same way, many people who do terrible things like to look very, very well dressed. Now, do you remember the mafia? Remember the good old days when there was a mafia, a crime syndicate? Remember? And they would go and do terrible things. They would kill people for money or whatever. Al Capone was one very famous. So these people were very well dressed people. They always wore beautiful suits and shirts and ties, but they were killing people. So would we say that they were really well dressed? Not really, because they're well dressed does not reflect a good character. It reflects people who were trying to look good when they're very far from being good. Okay. Any questions on that? Any observations?
Why is the screen all messed up?
Say it again, please.
My screen is messed up.
You've seen it?
The screen.
Yeah, my
Would you
screen
speak up,
too.
please? I can't hear you.
The screen.
You can't see the text on the screen.
I know. I don't know how to.
Rabbi,
I don't know how to fix the screen. My apology. So what we're doing is I'm reading the verse to you, and then you're telling me what you think of the verse, what it means.
Rabbi,
Okay, we're almost finished.
I have a large print version of Proverbs. Where are you in the book of Proverbs?
Well,
What chapter and line?
I'm in chapter 11. Okay, and that is and I'm looking at number 26 in Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 26, and it says, "One who withholds produce will be cursed by the nation, but blessing will be on the head of the provider." Now, what does this mean? This means that if you have a farm and you grow a lot of food, more food than you need, then you're doing a big favor to people by making that food available, by selling it to them, because they could use that food. But sometimes people do foolish things, that instead of selling the food so that others can benefit, they lock up all their food, and they hide it from everybody so that nobody can enjoy that food. And in the end, they're doing a terrible thing to everybody. They're not really acting in the best interest of people, because by withholding the fruits and the vegetables, people will go hungry. So the verse says, don't do that. But if you do provide fruits and vegetables, and of course you charge for it, you will be blessed. People will be very grateful for what you are doing. Okay. And let's try another verse, number 27. And that says, he who seeks good for others seeks God's favor. But he who searches out evil for others, it will come upon him. And that means if you're trying to do good deeds for people, you want to make them feel good, you want to provide them with favors, you want to help them, if you do that, God will be very happy that you're such a good person. But for people who are trying to use their wealth to punish people, that evil that they plan to do to others will come upon them. Okay, and that's exactly what Hillel was saying. That people who want God's blessing should try and do good deeds with their money. And people who want to use their money to take revenge, the revenge will come on them instead. Okay, so anyone have any questions about Purim? Anything that you'd like to ask? Anybody?
Yeah, do you get to drink Slivovitz?
Yes, you do. If you can spell it, you can drink it. And
No, Gail.
the big problem, of course, is we really don't want people to really go around inebriated. But it's a mitzvah to have a little something that makes you happy. So for many people, wine will do it. For others, it'll be a liquor. But we don't want you to actually get drunk, because the Talmud says if you get drunk and you break somebody's property because you're drunk, you're not walking a straight line, you are responsible to pay for that property. Even though it's Purim, you should not drink to the point where you can cause damage to other people. So you have to know how to. Now, some of the greatest rabbis used to drink a little bit of wine and take a nap while sitting up, and they felt they had done the mitzvah of drinking on Purim. It's a very good idea, because once you fall asleep, you can no longer know the difference between blessed is Mordechai and cursed is Haman. Okay, so we're going to finish up in about 30 seconds. I apologize, the screen wasn't available to you, but we covered a lot of very beautiful ideas from the book of Proverbs. We discovered that laziness is a terrible, terrible thing. And we learned that just being rich does not protect you, but tzedakah does. And we also learned that when God saves a good person from harm, it's not simply that person is saved, but a bad person will be replacing the good person, like Haman wanted to hang Mordechai, and instead Haman was hanged. Anyway, next time I hope that we will have solved these problems with the screen. And if you see me, feel free to ask me questions, or if you want to call me on the phone, I'll be glad to answer what I'm able to answer. And it's good to have all you happy faces joining in. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful Purim, and I'll see you in shul, okay? Sei gesund. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. A pleasure.